Hey everyone, Matt with Tractor Guy's Garage here. Today we're starting on the diesel swap. Currently I've got the front end all taken apart and getting ready to pull the old 302 out of there. But I went ahead and also started putting the Hydroboost unit in there. I just got this in the mail today and wanted to get it all fitted up. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I noticed online on some of the forums that I've been reading about this, there has been some contradicting comments and whatnot, and I went through and sifted a lot of them out to get where I'm at now with this, and I wanted to make a video to give a concise clarification. So this is a Hydroboost unit out of a mid-90s Ford F Super Duty. It is a direct bolt in to the firewall. You don't have to modify the bolt holes, it just slipped right in, and I used the factory vacuum booster nuts. However, as we come on into the where the pedal box is in here, there is one thing we need to change. Now, up into the pedal box, where it hooks in, the brake pedal pin that actually holds the rod and is what actually actuates the booster had to be adjusted. And if I get the camera in here, you can kind of see the welds that are on there. I had to tap out the factory pin location and move it down by, I believe it was 3/4 of an inch. There is some good information on forums though about moving that pin, but that's a pretty important thing when you do this conversion, as if you do not, it puts the center distance of the brake rod, the pedal rod, it puts it at the wrong location, and it will actually cause the Hydroboost unit to wear out prematurely. So that's one thing that's important to do. Another thing, going back out front here, is I had this other GM Hydroboost unit, and for those of you that also don't know, these Hydroboost units are very, very similar in these eras. A lot of them were more or less the same, with only some minor changes in this area to do with the mounting and the pedal rod and all that. But the internal design is almost identical with some minor exceptions. And I had this unit that came off an old Chevy pickup. And I'm thankful I did, because if you notice in these Hydroboost units, there's a little ring in here and there's a gap. And this one doesn't have it anymore because I took it out and I moved it over to the new one. But it's very important when you get one of these units that you also obtain a push rod, which is one of these. The one off the vacuum booster will not work, and you have to use a Hydroboost unit. And also, if you look in there, there is a little plastic retainer with a metal backer piece, and then you can kind of see back in there is a spring. All of those need to be transferred over from either an older one or they need to be acquired separately, because these are an important part in the pedal return of the Hydroboost unit. Otherwise, it will not function correctly. And the guide itself is what they call this plastic piece in here, is important to keep the pedal rod centered when the pedal is actuating and keep it from dropping down and causing damage to the master. Now, for this particular application, at the moment my truck is staying with drum brakes. So I am going to take the factory drum brake and the rear disc brake in the front master and just slot the holes a little bit that mount it to then bolt it up to this booster. However, at some point I hope to convert this truck over to discs in the rear, in which case I can actually then get a Super Duty master, which would have been the direct bolt-up master to this, and it will be a direct connection to, without any kind of modification on the mounting holes here. But with at the moment I want to leave it with the factory master, since trying to put a disc master in this would cause a issue with the rear drum brakes, as it wouldn't hold pressure right and the rear brakes would not work as they're supposed to. So for the moment we're going to leave these the master in place until I get it switched around. But it does fit up, the bore is correct, and the mounting holes are very close. The only thing you need to do is take these and slot them out a little bit, and I might end up just slotting them all the way out to fit into here, just to make it easy to install. But yeah, that's a little quick synopsis of these Hydroboost conversions, and just a few things that I found that are important, that are things that you don't always find in there. I really could not find a ton of information on these pedal push rods, And the ones that I did find, I found information about getting a push rod or making a push rod, but not about this spring and this backer piece, which are, I think, equally as important as this push rod, because without these, you can cause damage to the Hydroboost and to the booster. So hopefully this was helpful for y'all. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll see if I can answer them for you. Hopefully this helped clears up some points of confusion that anyone had. And I appreciate you watching.